these stories, these details are important all across this vast nation. A lot of people have all these stories, but they think it only applies to a turf, a section, a side. Just as, for some, my complexion created a barrier to them, us and them narrative. But you can't be honest with the world. You can't be honest with any person you meet if you can't look in the man in the mirror. Look in the mirror, in your face, and be honest with yourself. Fortunately for me, I didn't have a lot of the insecurities or confusion about my identity. Not as a small kid, not as a teenager, not as an adult. And I saw those kids, and it looked painful. It looked confusing. Dressing up like a punk rocker or a skateboarder, and they just wasn't knowing. But I think that's fortunate, to a certain extent, because everyone's experience is tailored to their own life, their own people that they meet. So I didn't hate on them. I didn't say, hey, you gotta be like me, because everything I was doing wasn't always correct. But there's another side to this as well. For people like my mother, like my sister, like other female family members in my family on my mom's side, like other male family members on my dad's side. If you a Caucasian male or female and you got black babies, and you silent and you quiet, and when these things came up in the past and you ain't say nothing, or maybe you ain't built like that, maybe you did something wrong, didn't know how to stand right, or maybe you was brainwashed into believing that it was a difference, but that time is gone. No, I don't blame you. Other people will, I don't. Because it's a learning process. If you stay that way and you think that it's not what it is, then that's you. And unfortunately, I see it all the time, man. Just because you got a baby by a black man, don't make that experience something that you experienced. And they know. Because if it kicked off today, what would they do? If it was picking and choosing on sides, what would they do? For my male family members that got babies with Caucasian women, what would you do? I think their experience and whatever their choices may be probably would be different. Because as black males, they know what time it is. So regardless of what education they got, however they dress, however they speak, that concocted narrative ain't gonna change. For them at least. But there's yet another side to this. Not my personal male family members, but other ones. may feel like that baby with that white woman or their status or whatever they've achieved from assimilating makes them exempt from any of this. And that's ridiculous. You know, you can't go join the team with somebody that's putting their boot on your neck and expect that it's gonna change. Like if you be docile and pacifist and be nice, that they're gonna take that boot off your neck. If they do, it's because they got a rope behind their back holding it like that. You need to understand that. And you know what's unique about this video? All the things that people who try to throw smoke signals and illusions, you can't call this video racist. That's the funny thing about it. When someone darker than me says things like this, that's when you throw in narratives. Like when people that are darker than me call out racism, and you say calling out racism is racist. You gotta understand these things. You know, it's just like when you see this stuff kicking off, it's people of every shade and hue, language, descendants of every nation out there. It's not just my cousins, uncles. It's everybody. So don't have that wool put over your eyes like sheeple and think, but it's cool. Some of those things are gonna change, and it's gonna be a shock to the system, because it ain't gonna be no wool pulling over our eyes. This is the unveiling. Those same things that have worked are no longer gonna work. And this time when a person, white, black, yellow, brown, the spectrum, and this time when a person does things like that, this platform, this medium, takes off that veil. And by design, they have to be truthful. To manifest that evil that they manifest, they gotta be truthful and gotta bring it out at some point in time. One of the funniest things about my experience is, let me rephrase that, not funny. One of the ironic and confounding things is people thinking that because of a lighter complexion, like I got something easier. And since 16, 19, people been falling for this, man. If this was the height of chattel, and I was in the house, and you was in the field, what would make me any different than you? Unfortunately, some of these people that have interracial families, have black babies, have it twisted in a similar fashion. But these things, when brought into light, are like a magnifying glass on a virus with the sun shining on it. Because these things that I'm talking about are no different. It's taught to children. and then it's put into action. And that's where it starts. It's not where it ends. And I'm not calling for a kumbaya or a Rodney King phrase. Because that's what one of the greatest leaders tried to do. And they sniped him. And then try to rewrite history like they love him. This goes deeper, but you know, I'm an old man. My knees ain't built for all this standing. But I'll make some more parts to it and go more in depth. But I hope everyone, of all hues, of all faiths, in every corner of this nation, has a good day, even through all this madness. Be vigilant. But know and understand it's about balance. Come back to the channel and holler at me, man. You know? Because I hope that my positivity and my love is infectious. I don't let my emotions determine whether or not I engage my alter ego. That's my choice. When you go about your day, when you go on the ground, and you supporting, or you letting your voice be heard, keep that in mind. Because a chicken with its head cut off, running around, don't have an objective.